All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Today on the show, we have Rockshana Descances, who is a social entrepreneur, and we're going to get to hear about her dreams and goals and how we can help her. So, Rockshana, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming on, and I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. And we'd like to jump right in. So if you could start with telling us a little bit about yourself and some of the things that you like to do for fun, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So as cliche as it sounds, the things that I like to do for fun is what I do as it's my career. So, so really jumping right into it, like as a social entrepreneur, I've been called like a different aspect of a social entrepreneur because everything I love, modeling, dancing, acting, being a pageant coach and life coach, that is all the things I love doing, which are also my hobbies. Like I'll just talk to random people for the fun of it. Are what I do for fun. And it's my passion at the same way and my way of translating and helping other people grow, which is like my mission, essentially.
Hey, helping other people grow. And so would you say that is your motivation in life, or is there more to it when I ask you what your motivation is?
That is my motivation in life. I like growth. I mean, I can't make a plant grow or anything like that, but I like individual growth in your own passion. So for instance, the whole like different social entrepreneur comes into play is the fact of dance. Like I love it. I love dancing. I love what it does for me physically, mentally, and everything. However, it's my passion. Now, if your passion is basketball and it helps you grow and it helps you move, I like helping you find the nicks in basketball and how it makes you feel to help you translate that into other aspects of your life so that you can keep continuing growing and developing.
Yeah, I love it. That is very similar to what I love to do, hence the podcast. But awesome. Well, when did you first realize that that's really what you love to do?
That was about sophomore, junior year of high school. I used it more, of course, you're in high school, you use it more as a tool to get out of class, leave early, that kind of thing. But then when I saw my friends actually, so to say, taking my advice and translating and seeing what it was doing for them, I was like, oh, like I'm actually helping them. And when I would start and help the freshmen out and see them be able to warm up and translate into going into a new environment, I'm like, oh, this works. And it worked for the younger dancers that I was with on a team with. I was like, hey, this is a thing. It's one of those things early age where you just kind of did it. And I didn't realize I can actually do it and help people and make it a financial income until maybe like 6-7 years ago, unfortunately, but fortunately at the same time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I feel that. So tell us a bit about your dreams, goals, and vision for your life.
It's everything I do in one big building. Which is a lot. I do a lot, but I would love it to be under one space where people can come in and see what I do, see how I express, but also helping instructors grow themselves to help others. Now, a lot of people say, well, I'm not a dancer, I'm not a performer. How would you be able to help me? How would your building help me? But then no, we're pulling in those aspects of the things that you enjoy and putting into that building. So yes, you may not be a dancer. You want to do it as a hobby, but you can translate that feeling of dance. You could translate that feeling of walking on a runway into when you go to class or need to talk to your boss or something like that. To me, it's all the emotional feeling that you feel from all these things that make you feel great, that whole adrenaline rush, and just having it in one space. A nice big building where people can just be artistic and free and just find themselves or just release in general.
Gotcha. So would the rooms in the building be primarily dance and fashion, or would you have some like free rooms that could be used for other things? Like say somebody has a passion about basketball and they want to come to your building for basketball.
Yeah, just a free room. Like free rooms, like there'll be specific rooms, but also just open rooms. Like you want to come in and the floor is yours.
I feel that.
Very big and out there, you know, we're still in the mapping stages, but it's just space, just giving people space, basically.
Yeah, no, that's That's awesome. How big of a building do you think you need for that?
Oh, you want to know something? You don't even need that much space. I'm thinking maybe like we're definitely going to go maybe 1,200 square feet, maybe a little bit more than that. I'm going to go straight up.
1,200 square feet, huh?
Yeah, why not? We'll make it work.
I feel that. So what do you think's stopping you from having the building right now?
I think myself, I'm still growing in aspects where I'm like, okay, let's see how I'm still finding my tools as I'm helping other people. I'm that person where I truly believe that everybody teaches you something. There isn't a useful relationship, there isn't a useful interaction anywhere. So I'm still like breathing in, taking in all aspects and growing myself and developing to where I want to be like, okay, let's translate it and make it into a space. It's a lot also, you know, flexibility and more convenient for me hopping from person to person and doing Zooms and having sessions that way. But building's coming soon. Building's coming.
Hey, there we go. Are we talking like into 2022?
We're talking like end of 2023.
End of 2023.
Yeah, there's a few things I want to get off the checklist in 2022 that I'm like, yeah, 2023 might be it.
I feel that. I feel that. And where's the building gonna be located?
Ooh, there's so many like options. I could do either Vegas or Denver or Connecticut. I think honestly it might be Connecticut. Start where my roots started and then maybe another building somewhere else.
Yeah, I was about to say, are you gonna take this like multiple locations across the world, or?
I would love to, honestly, take it multiple locations across the world, and especially places where I feel like I have made an impact to the community around me. So like Connecticut, New York, Denver, now Vegas, now that I'm here. So just kind of like follow my own footsteps, basically.
Yeah.
International, why not? Let's do it. That's actually a really good idea.
I love that. I love that. And so, are you guys going to lease this space or own it?
I would rather own it so that I have the flexibility to do what is necessary to grow. You know, you have it one day and that's the mission, just like anything else. Like I tell my clients, like you have a mission for the one day and you give yourself a timeline of at the end of the month, at the end of the year, I want to be here, but then you're going to find another goal. It's like always having, once you reach a goal, you find another goal. So small space, I have it, but I want to be able to have the flexibility to expand, grow, incorporate, put a basketball court inside, like that kind of thing to grow so that I can keep growing myself, I can keep growing a company, and I can keep helping others grow themselves.
I feel that. I feel that. Is the building going to generate revenue by people renting out the space, or will there be another form of revenue generation?
I think like a multitude of both. There's something to say as an artist where when we rent space versus when we're just like handed space, there's a different value of ownership into like your class and your theme. And so I definitely think it'd be a combination of a little bit of a both, of a mixture, depending on what you're doing and what's happening.
I feel like we get you your first building by June.
Right? It's finding the right space. It's finding the right environment, feeling it out.
Hey, I'm just saying, if you want it by June, just let me know. I think we can make some stuff happen.
All right.
Awesome. Well, if there were one or two people you could meet, great follow-up question, actually. If there were one or two people that you could meet right now, first, do you have any other dreams or goals that you want to talk about?
Those are all my dreams and goals. My dreams and goals are the same.
Getting it all in one big building. Epic.
Yes, putting it all in one big building so I can keep doing it.
I love it. There we go. Well, if there are one or two people that you could meet right now, they could be a type of person or a specific person that would really help you take the next step towards getting this big building. Who would they be and how would they do it?
Ooh, that's a really good question.
Thank you.
Like, you've heard that question, but I've never heard it pertaining to us like a goal, a mission. Um, does it matter if they're dead or alive?
If they're dead and they can help you take that next step, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Okay. So it would have to be Maya Angelou.
There we go.
Yes. Yes. Um, Even when I read her book when I was younger, she was always a type of inspiration because she dealt with different hardships and still built and climbed to her own extent. I mean, she's passed, and you see her quote in so many movies, so many things, because of how her impact on other people through through the things that she enjoyed doing. You know, it was only when she was a child she did things for other people. But once she became an adult and started finding herself and really found herself, everything she did was through her movement, through her speaking, through her poetry, through her artistic needs, which in a sense I find connection to that, and the barriers that I face as my own self-criticism, like, of course, we're all a self-critic, through that. And so to help me build and keep going and being like, you know, the person on my shoulder, the angel on your shoulder, moving me forward and helping me break down the barriers and break down the moments of, I don't think so, I can't, maybe. Yeah, it'd be her, like, hands down.
So are you saying like Maya Angelou, her story and her work would help you kind of break through some mental barriers that you have on the way to kind of getting that big building and making your dreams come true?
Making the dreams come true, right? Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that. What are those mental barriers?
The self-doubt that everyone faces. I actually told one of my clients the other day, she was like, well, you don't have any fears. Like, you're pretty sure of yourself when you put your mind to it. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Thank you that you think that. But honestly, I'm like everyone else. I have this self-doubt. I don't know, should I do this? Is this right for me financially? Is this what's going to lead me to the next path? I like just making impulsive decisions and just living with whichever result. But also sometimes when you make an impulsive decision, you have a moment of, ooh, do I, shouldn't I? Is that right? And then you make a choice to either do it or you don't. And I'm a person where if I make a choice, regardless if there was a negative or positive outcome, I'm going to own up to it. And we're just going to keep moving. I might have burned my hand, but that's okay. It's not completely gone. So we're still alive.
Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Well, are there any other people that could really help you with that self-doubt or in any other aspects to really take the next step towards getting that building?
Any doubt? I think, as cliche as it sounds, there isn't a person. I think it's the community that I keep around me, the positive energy that I keep around me, to help me continue to uplift. You know, there are times where, of course, like, I need someone to talk to, and I voice my opinions about my decisions. And it's having the person or persons being like, oh, you know, hey, let's weigh out the positive and negatives. Hey, let's walk this through together versus a, well, that's a stupid idea, just do it. So that positivity, my community, which is, you know, I am blessed to say that everyone around me is that positive environment. I can't think of a negative person that's around me that's like, that was the worst idea.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, community is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Well, name the most important one or two things that everyday people can do to help you get that building.
Oh, you have some really good questions.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Everyday people, I would say the continuum of moving forward. If, like, obviously, if no one's making any more buildings, like, I can't get one customized made. Like, if no one's doing what their goals are, it does make it harder for me to do my goals. If there's no access, if there's no, but so then I can't do mine. but I think people moving forward with their own pathways, people reaching out and understanding that individuals like me that are life coaches, and we do so many other things because that's the world of being an entrepreneur and such, we're still here to help. So having the courage and the confidence to reach out and say, hey, how do I do this? I need some leadership. I need some guidance. Having people that want to put their kids in dance and want to train, because that's like my source of income. So yes, send your kids to me. Let's train. Let's do the pageant coaching. So I think people wanting to do more for themselves, for their kids, for their family, definitely helps me grow individually to learn different styles of helping others and pushing out there, moving, being out there, really.
I love that. I love that. Well, awesome. Now we're going to jump into our Thriving Three. And the first question is, what's your favorite book, movie, or podcast? Pick one.
Sister Act 2 is my favorite movie.
Sister Act 2. Love it.
Yep. It is. Oh, yeah. The final scene, the choir scene and everything. Yeah, it's my thing. I watched that over and over and over again.
Tell us about the choir scene and why you love it so much.
Because the energy that's on that stage in that moment where the students and the teachers realize like, hey, we are all on the same page. Like, let us do our thing, because you've instructed and guided us throughout this entire year semester to be individuals, but also come together. And then when she's like, all right, cool, take off your robes. Like, you guys do your thing, I'm gonna do my thing, and let's just give energy. And the energy that they give off the screen into the audience, you can tell each individual person coming out, but also they're still together. So yeah. And then the lights and the colors and the artistic realm of that too.
Yeah, I love it. What's one way you like to take care of yourself?
I meditate and I journal. I think the journaling really keeps me centered. And recently just started meditating, actually, which I used to be like, oh, I can't stay still. I don't know how to do it. But aside from dancing, writing things down for me makes it more visually real. Writing goals, writing what's happened, how I process things. That's my way of translating, especially if it's something a little close to the heart or something that I don't want to verbally speak on to someone else. It just helps me express versus like talking to a mirror.
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel that. And what is one action step that you can take right now to get that building?
Action step. I can look into buildings, honestly, and look into locations that like I've had the most outreach and impact on, and in communities that I feel would use it, take use of it the most. I've thought of different realms for my company being nonprofit or for profit and weighing the outcomes of that. And in the long run, I think it'll probably be a little bit of a combination of both, but also finding out what areas that I feel need the most, what areas are called to that I can make an impact, but also that the kids and even adults, like I think people forget that adults need some guidance, and it's okay as an adult to want to find some guidance. Like there's past things that went on, there's things currently, like you could have no trauma in your life, everything's cool, but there are some things that keep you from doing what you want to do just because, again, we criticize ourselves. So I think the areas like that and just going. One day I'm just going to open the computer and just go. And then you'll be like, oh, we talked about this. She has her building.
Yeah.
Overnight.
Oh, for sure. I love that. Maybe by June of 2022.
Maybe by June. I'll invite you to the ribbon cutting. There you go.
Hey, there we go. I'll be there. Awesome. Well, tell us about that self-doubt and some more limiting beliefs that you have and how you push through them every day when they pop up in your head.
Yeah, they come in like everyone else, where you have a decision or like a new job well, obviously a decision. And it's acknowledging them. There was times where I'd be like, oh, no. I'm not thinking that. That's a negative thought. And I push it away. But we all have a negative thought, and it's realizing that you have that thought of I can't, and acknowledging it, working through it by yourself. So I would typically like work through it. I'm like, okay, well, why do I feel like I can't go and do this? What are all the things that are stopping me? What are all the things I can do? Weighing up the outcomes and not beating myself up for the fact that I had a negative thought. As much as I don't want to have them, they slip in. Someone says something, or I see something, or I just don't do anything up to my own expectations. And it's just being like, okay, you had that thought, we processed it. All right, cool. Let's wrap it up and throw it away. Let's move on to the next thing. When I don't process it and I'm just like, and I start beating myself up about it, when of course those come, then it's like, oh man, I should never beat myself up about it. And then I have myself in this like circle of crap. I had a negative thought. I beat myself up about it. And now I'm mad. But then it's just, all right, cool. You had a negative thought. You beat yourself up about it. We're processing it. We're going to do it. We're not going to do it. Cool. We're mellowed out and let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And so is working through those negative thoughts, like really just like asking yourself why you feel that way and where it's coming from, and then not beating yourself up about it? Or is there something more to it?
It's really of finding the root of the thought. Like what's going on? Why are you afraid? Why don't you want to do this? And then, okay, we're going to make a decision to do this. We're not. And we're not going to beat ourselves up about it. It's a choice. We do, we don't, and then processing through it. The process for that, like that works for me because I like acknowledgement and I like accountability. No matter whom it is or what's going on, I like holding myself or someone else accountable just to know, just to know. So once I process it and I've said yes, thought, go through, we're completed, it helps me really like full circle, wrap it up to be okay to move on to the next thing and not dwell on it.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. Well, I got one more question for you, and it requires a bit of pretext.
Oh, okay.
So you know how there are people on the planet that have a fixed mindset. They are not willing to accept change. They're not willing to accept help. And sometimes they die like that. And then there are people who change at some point in their life, and they're willing to accept change, willing to accept help, and they have a growth mindset. In your opinion, what is the catalyst that causes that change?
I think it's how you were raised and your mind, your thought process. Reason being is if you were raised in an environment, not necessarily your parents or such, but if you're raised in an environment, the community, people around you, and what you saw and what influenced you for a no change lifestyle, everything stays the same. We're not out of the box. Everything stays in the box and what we know in that structure, then that's who you will become. If you were never introduced to anything other than, then you don't know. Now, if you are that person that does change, you are looking at different colors. You are looking to expand and to grow and to taking in what people say to you. That's because, in my opinion, you've been introduced to different things in your community. And you want to do different things because that's what you've seen. You've seen it all around. You've seen the whole bright colors, the big dresses, and all that aspect. So that's what you know, and that's what urges you and kind of like slightly drives you a little to do more and to grow.
I feel that. So you're saying community is really the biggest factor that causes people to change or stay fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
I love that. Well, is there anything else you want to chat about before we sign off?
No, I think we really hit it home on the fact of like you have your own decisions to make. You have your own choices and to own up to it. I think a lot of people are afraid to be like, this is a bad decision. I shouldn't do it. And then when it comes out being a bad decision, they beat themselves up about it, which keeps them from making another choice. I think acknowledging and making a choice, regardless what the outcome is, and just owning up to it. Like, yeah, you screwed up. Might not do that again. But just knowing that in yourself and not beating yourself up about it, I think it's important. Yeah.
There we go. Rockshana, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, of course. And if you guys are listening to this and you loved what Rockshana had to say, or you happen to know somebody who is very close to Maya Angelou and can speak into Rockshana's life or something of that nature, that would be fantastic. Make that connection. Also, if you happen to know any big buildings that would be fantastic for her dreams, make sure to contact her, set her up with that building, and let's get her into it by June of 2022. No, I'm just playing. But awesome. As we always ask, send this podcast to 1 to 2 people you know need to hear this message. Shoot us a 5-star review on iTunes, and we're out.